Good morning, Liberty.
Well, what is up, all of our liberty-loving friends? This is another fantastic episode of Good Morning Liberty. My name is Nate Thurston. Across from me is Mr. Charles Shuck Thompson. Today we're talking about MTG, Obamacare, Trump mom Donny, Jim Comey, Letitia James, socialism, billionaires, and something else. I don't know what else.
Just a laundry list.
Or like two of those things. So we'll see. I just want to let you know what this is all about. This is our last show for a minute because Thanksgiving this week. And then we have engagements next week that we'll tell you about sometime in the future.
Festivities,
different ways that people have fun, you know, and then so we're going to be doing that. And it really, honestly, we're missing next week for the same reason that America's going down the tubes. Honestly, just narcissism, gaslighting, psychopathy,
toxic femininity.
Women.
Is that a joke?
Yeah, well, of course it's a joke. Come on, jeez, it wouldn't be. I wouldn't say that for sure. I got a wife. I got to go home to. You know,
politics, matriarchy,
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
the list goes on.
This is one of those shows. If you're listening right now on the podcast app, then that means it went well. Honestly, I didn't need to say that though, because that's the only way you'll be listening. I don't know for sure that we're going to release this because it's been a busy week already here on Tuesday, and it's been a very busy week. Had family in town from Brazil. Charlie's prepping for festivities that he's got to deal with next week.
Obligations.
And my God, there's just a lot of stuff going on in the world. And I've always, wanted to give like a positive message before we send people off to Thanksgiving to be with their families. And
but you know what you have to be thankful for this year? Nothing. That's right. You have nothing to be thankful for. You're a victim.
Yeah.
And America is going to hell, and there's nothing you can do about it. Merry Christmas.
I don't think we need anything more than that. Honestly.
Clip it. I looked right at the camera when I said that.
Yeah, we're going to clip that right there. So a few things happened over the weekend. It's our first show since the weekend. Other people have already talked about this. You've already heard people talk about this, but wait until you hear us do it because you're going to maybe disagree with the first thing. So MTG, she resigned, which was shocking to me. I did not expect that at all. I don't know if you also did not expect that.
I didn't expect it. I'm telling you, the deep state is deeper than we think, man.
You think that's what's going on? I was going to ask you why, because there are other options here. She clearly has gotten on the bad side of Trump, which she could have fixed if she wanted to, but she's gotten on the bad side of Trump. And, she still could have stayed in office and just decided not to run again and been an important vote on some things there in the House, So that could have happened. But instead, she's resigning at the end of this year, and that feels a little bit more sudden, like maybe either through threats on her life or she's just had it with this whole system and it's not worth her time anymore.
I lean towards the latter. I would say her analysis is that the juice ain't worth the squeeze, man. It ain't worth the pot of lemons it came in.
I gotcha.
And it's, I think, a combination of factors, but the main one being that
it ain't worth the pot of lemons it came in.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean.
You're smelling what I'm stepping in over here?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I think that's what she told me over the phone anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No,
I said it just like that.
I think it's really difficult, and you have to really be able to separate emotions from business when it comes to a job like that. If
Are you
you're
saying
actually
that because she's a woman, she's not able to do that?
No.
Oh.
I'm just saying very few people, including men, can do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you see like two. There's Thomas Massey and Rand Paul. And that's it.
I gotcha.
Ron Paul, when he was in there.
Yeah.
And that's it. Everyone else capitulates. Why? Because it's easier.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a extremely hard toll on your mental health to continue to battle that type of fight with no real like hope.
I mean, imagine we just talk about this stuff all the time and follow it all the time. Imagine actually being in it and disagreeing, and you got to go there and you got to be with those people every day, and you disagree with what's happening. You feel like there ought to be something you can do about it. And yeah, it's got to be very stressful, especially, she's a business owner. She's got other stuff to do. And so she's going to be fine. I've got I was following online. I'm always just online all the time. And I saw a lot of people that we follow very upset about this. And I am too, because of the reasons that she likely ended up resigning and the disagreements that she had with Trump. Like, that's all very frustrating. I don't like mourn her like a lot of people are, because I think for the most part, the people like the libertarians and small government people that are very upset about this are people who are very, very concerned about the Israel thing. And I am too, but I take it in proportion to things that the government spends money on. And the problem with MTG is that she's been a pretty solid vote on the spending bills that Trump once passed.
And don't forget, when she first came out, we called her a nutcase, I believe.
I'm sure we have plenty of times, yeah.
She said a lot of crazy things on Twitter, including, Trump was like Jesus and being persecuted.
Yeah.
Now, maybe she had a reason for that, but I think we have also in the past talked about how she's not great on economics. Like, she may be good on a couple things, but there's some economic positions, voting for the big beautiful bill, advocating for that. Lots of other things where she wasn't a Ron Paul representative.
No, I mean, she's been pretty good on foreign policy stuff, except for I think everyone sort of forgot that she had this real big tweet post about our foreign policy blunders, and she talked about Vietnam and Iraq and Afghanistan and all the Middle East wars and everything, and she's like, and that's why we really should be bombing Mexico. And so I'm like, yeah, she's great on foreign policy. When it comes to the things that we've done in the past, it did sort of seem like there's just other places that she wanted to focus that military industrial complex on. She's like, instead of sending $300 billion to Israel, let's drop $300 billion worth of bombs to our neighbors immediately to the south, who we have relative peace with. Yes. and like I said, my biggest thing, you guys have heard us talk about this, but apparently it's just not enough. We're heading towards like a financial hardship here in the United States. It's going to come. The chickens will eventually come home to roost. There are years where we know certain programs will be running out of money. We know that we are continuing to have to fund our debt with either bonds, our spending, our deficits, our debt with either bonds or by printing money. And it's getting harder and harder to get people to buy up that much in debt every year. Like, we got to go out and we got to say, hey, we need you to put this money by government bonds so we can take it. We're going to do these things. It's getting harder and harder to get people to do that. So they got to keep raising the interest rates, which raises the rates elsewhere, everywhere else. And so we're coming up on some potentially hard times in the U.S., and she's been a pretty strong, consistent vote for continuing to do massive deficit spending, unless it had some type of money for Israel or Ukraine or something tied into it. Then she's like, not that. But if it doesn't have those things in it, she's like, yeah, $2 trillion deficit, cool. That's fine. Trump said to do it. I'm going to do it. And so I don't. And
then she was good recently on Epstein, which I think is what a lot of people are looking at, her recent record, standing up for survivors of child sexual abuse. I think that's why a lot of people are mourning this resignation. I could say it looked like she was potentially on the right path. Like maybe she could have taken the lead of her comrade,
Agreed.
Thomas Massey.
Agreed.
Do I call him comrade? It sounds kind of weird.
Sure.
Seems like a Soviet term, kind of, but
That's fine.
her colleague,
Mm-hmm.
Thomas Massey, maybe he was gaining some influence. And so it is kind of frustrating to see like a congresswoman going in the right direction and then to give up the fight. I just think, again, it wasn't worth it for mental health. She actually has lost money since she came into Congress. I think she was worth $32 million when she came in.
I keep seeing posts everywhere showing how much she's skyrocketed.
That's not true.
Net worth.
She was worth like $32 million when she came in. She's now worth 25, so she's lost like $7 million in net worth.
Well, no, but I heard she waited until 2 days after she got that $14,000 a year pension from the government. That was her whole game plan this whole time. She was in it for the pension. Yeah, right.
I mean, that'll sustain. Yeah, that'll shoot. Yeah, that's about half of her month's expenses, 14, probably.
$14K. It gave me $14K. I could probably live 2-3 years on that. That's plenty.
Yeah,
for me.
They don't have $1 double cheeseburgers anymore, though.
Like 2 years on the safe side. We'll be fine.
A little tougher than it used to be.
I want to play this video of Trump asking if he could forgive MTG, and of course he takes the opportunity to go after Thomas Massey in this clip. Here we go.
Are you willing to forgive Congresswoman Taylor Greene?
Forgive for what? No, I just disagreed with her philosophy. She started backing perhaps the worst Republican congressman in our history, just stupid person named Massey. And I said, go your own way. And once I left her, she resigned because she would never have survived a primary. But I think she's a nice person.
Are you willing?
I think she's a nice person. So she started backing what Trump calls one of the worst Republican congressmen in American history, Thomas Massey.
Yeah.
And I took that personally.
The guy who's most consistent with the Constitution.
No, but I just want everyone to realize that, and that I continue to be more and more surprised / disappointed / angry about this. Thomas Massey, like if you were to find a Congress person and say which one of these people resembles most closely the ideology of like the founding fathers and constitutionality and like what the American ideal that created this country, it would be what Donald Trump calls the worst congressman in history. And that is, he means it. He governs like it. And there's no 5D chess here. That's it. He doesn't like anyone who goes against whatever power he wants to use to do whatever thing it is.
Are you regretting your vote now?
I mean, I get like, it's not like my vote mattered or whatever. It's not like, oh, if you wouldn't have done that, then we would have gotten Ron Paul or something. Like the other option was Kamala Harris. My God. I will say, in a way, it's not that like I don't want Kamala Harris to be the president right now. I pretty much always like Republicans more than I like Democrats. If you show me a Democrat who says who says the government should do less things, you show me a Democrat who says the government's spending $7 trillion right now, and instead it should be spending $4 trillion right now, or 3, or none. Show me that Democrat that's like ever existed, and like then I'll vote for a Democrat.
Problem with that guy is he likes to get BJs under the desk.
That's a problem. Wait, which?
With that Democrat.
Oh, that Democrat.
Spends less.
Yeah, the one who, well, I'm not sure he spent less, maybe a little bit, or they just made some extra money and closed the deficit for a little while. I'm not an expert on that, on that time period. I was watching Power Rangers at that time. So I texted Charlie last night, like, this administration, and I say this with all due respect. This administration has got to be the most disappointing and gayest presidency I've ever seen in my whole life. And I mean that with all due respect.
Especially after all the hype. I mean, you can go back and watch episodes of me. I was ashamedly now, like, I had so much hype for what was happening. And I got mad at all the real libertarians out there who were like, are you kidding me? You're not happy about this stuff? Has there ever been a time in your life where the president was saying from the Oval Office that we should cut the military budget in half? You know, has there ever been a time in your life where you were not excited about Elon Musk and Doge getting in there, finding all the corruption, sending these people to jail? I was the ultimate, probably somewhere around February, March, April, somewhere around there.
Happy days.
I was high on the hog. And then you can see how easily I am. You can see why I'm so easily manipulated.
Yeah.
I just buy it. I buy it. I was so excited.
But now we're paying attention to what people do instead of what they say.
Yeah.
And I struggle to say that overall it's been good. And it's not that I disagree with every single thing they've done. I didn't see the government decrease in power, really, structurally. Have not seen that. Now, listen, it's November right now of the first year. I'm sure they're going to get to cutting the power of the government soon. But I haven't seen spending decrease. It's gone down or gone up, not down.
Well, I mean, they did say we have to increase it before we can decrease it.
Yeah. It takes money to save money.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got to get through all of the worst presidency in history. That administration, they put America in such a bad spot. It's like, you know, when you're in the whole gambling, this is what happened to America. You know, America went to the craps table from 2021 to 2024 when Joe Biden was president and he had dementia.
Yeah.
So they lost all of their money at the craps table. And what Trump is saying is like, you know what? We got to go back to that craps table. Okay. Put another $2 trillion down. But this time I'm rolling the funny dice. I got the funny die in my hand, man. I'm the best roller there's ever been. And just wait, we got to spend this money now. We got to gamble this money now so that we can reap the benefits later. I mean, did you know there was $748,000 million billion trillion dollars being invested into the United States, Nate?
Yeah.
You got to let that take fruition. Okay?
Saudi Arabia is gonna invest like 5 times their entire GDP into America.
Right now, Saudi Arabia is digging a tunnel from their oil wells underground to our underground so we can find oil right here in the great state of Tennessee. They're just creating a pipe, like underground tunnel. Just the oil, rather than, you know, right now they drill oil wells just like straight down.
God bless. Leaning towards not releasing this
but
episode.
Now what they're going to do is they found a way to make it a sideways one underground, and they're going to just go right underneath the Atlantic Ocean over to the United States. That's how much investment we're getting.
That's pretty good. You know who else wants some? I got to comment on this. I got to comment on the Trump Mom Donny meeting that happened. As I'm talking it, like, listen, there's a high likelihood that when Trump leaves office, the U.S. government will be spending $8-9 trillion a year. We'll be that many years closer to Social Security running out of money, and also the Medicare trust fund running out of money too. Democrats will be in control of both the House and the Senate. And if he has his way, Rand Paul and Thomas Massie will no longer be in office, and NTG's resigning. And that's what we'll be looking at. Okay. And I'm not happy about that.
More Lindsey Grahams.
Yeah, I've seen no plan. No one has shown me a plan for what is the vision of this, except for more AI freaking data centers around. Like, that's it. Like, oh, like another AI data center. Awesome. That's great. That's awesome. The people who clean the floors in that place are going to make great money, you know? like, no, I don't care, you know? But, and so I'm pretty upset about that because I've seen him go after the people who are actually small government. And then if I were a MAGA Republican, I'd be really upset with Trump after this meeting. I'd be very upset with Trump because I don't know if you remember that whole New York election thing that happened where Donny was going to win. He's going to destroy New York City and they were going to cut funding to the city and all kinds of stuff like that. And it was a moral imperative that you as a Republican go and cast your vote for the groping grandma killer, Andrew Cuomo. I don't know what order he did that in, but you must go vote for Cuomo to stop this complete disaster of communism that's just going to overtake New York City. Get out now while you can. And they had this meeting. He's like, actually, seems like they're going to get along just fine.
We don't disagree on much.
Yeah, he's got a lot of the same ideas I do. And you want to know, like, okay, what I actually see here, don't take this the wrong way, Republicans. Let's just put a big disclaimer at the front of the show. Don't take this the wrong way. What I actually see is a socialist meeting with a national socialist. Okay? And so they don't disagree that much when they talk about things they think the government should do. You know, one of them just like, yeah, and we should stop immigration. Everything else is great. That's awesome. That's awesome. Just stop the immigration.
So you're saying Trump is Hitler?
No, I said don't take this the wrong way. I'm not even going to compare to history at all. I'm just saying, you know, I mean, heck, even Trump was like, when they asked if, you know, Mom Donny thought he was a socialist, Trump was like, it's okay, you can say it.
Fascist.
That's fine. Fascist, yeah.
Yeah.
A fascist.
Just say yes, it's easier.
Yeah, just say yes. It's easy. You don't have to explain it. Here
In case you missed that, here it is.
I don't know if that's this clip.
And also, will you do anything to stop him from arresting Prime Minister Netanyahu?
I've got 3 clips here.
Well, we didn't discuss your second part of the question. And on your first part, I mean, he's got views that are a little out there, but who knows? I mean, we're going to see what works, or he's going to change also. We all change. I changed a lot. From when I first came to office. It's now quite a while ago. It's quite a while. My first term was great. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. We're doing even better now. We're doing much better now than we did even the first term. And I can tell you some of my views have changed. And we had discussions on some things. I'm not going to discuss what they were, but that I feel very confident that he can do a very good job. I think he's going to be. I think he is going to surprise some conservative people, actually, and some very liberal people. He won't surprise them because they already like him.
Mom Donny's good. I mean, I'm just saying he's a great talker, and I think he went in there with a plan, and I think it worked. And he probably, I try to imagine. Well, I'll play some other clips. I've been trying to imagine like what they talked about. I'll tell you my thoughts on that after. Let's see what this clip is.
See Democrat policy specifically as being a problem, and I'd like that be a question that both of you could answer in New York City.
Look, I think that there are many things in our city where we have to own the responsibility of it, things that existed long before the president was the president. And those are also part of the message of our campaign, was to take on a broken politics of the past. And I ran against a number of candidates who represented different versions of that past. And what we found time and again is that working people were left behind in the politics of our city. And what we're looking to do is put those people right back at the heart of our politics so that we don't have a situation where we're in the wealthiest city in the history of the world, and yet 1 in 5 can't even afford $2.90 for a Metro card.
Mr. President,
You know, we had some interesting conversation, and some of his ideas really are the same ideas that I have. But a big thing on cost, you know, the new word is affordability. Another word is just groceries. You know, it's sort of an old-fashioned word, but it's very accurate. And they're coming down high. They were. You know, we had, both of us, we had the highest inflation in the history of our country the last 4 years under the Biden administration. And we've got inflation down now to a normal number. It's going to go even a little bit lower than that. Katie, do you have something?
It's now the second time I've heard him do this, which whatever. The groceries thing.
Yeah.
Can he not talk about groceries without mentioning that it's an old-fashioned
It's an
word?
old-fashioned word, yeah.
Like, hey, babe, do you want to go Friday night and get some, what's that word my grandma used to say all the time?
Groceries.
What is? I don't understand.
And like affordability is a new word.
That's the new
but
thing.
Groceries is old fashioned.
It's when I hear him say that, I hear
Trump's like, when I was a kid, we used to go grocery shopping.
Yeah.
Like the kids these days who go grocery shopping.
Yes, they do. But he hasn't gone grocery shopping, obviously, in the super. Actually, probably. I mean, probably ever, honestly.
Did you hear what he said there?
Which part?
The part where it's like, yeah, we talked. I'm not going to talk about what we talked about, but him and I agree on a lot of things, actually.
Yeah, we got a lot of the same ideas.
A lot of the same ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Buses are too expensive. $2.90 is too much.
That is too much. Let me see if this is a different. Oh, this is about would you feel good about being in New York as a billionaire, I believe. I haven't actually heard this one. Let's see.
You're a billionaire. You have a different address nowadays than you used to, but you used to call New York City home. Would you feel comfortable living in New York City under a Mamdani administration?
Yeah, I would. I really would. Especially after the meeting. Absolutely.
What makes you comfortable?
We agree on a lot more than I would have thought. I think I want him to do a great job, and we'll help him do a great job. He may have different views, but in many ways, we were discussing when Bernie Sanders was out of the race, I picked up a lot of his votes, and people had no idea because he was strong on not getting ripped off in trade and lots of the things that I've practiced and been very successful on. Tariffs, a lot of things. Bernie Sanders and I agreed on much more than people thought. And when he was put out of the race, I think quite unfairly, if you want to know the truth, many of the Bernie Sanders voters voted for me. And I felt very comfortable, frankly, in seeing that and saying that. And, it just turned out to be a statistical truth. But, no, I feel very comfortable. I would feel very, very comfortable being in New York, and I think much more so after the meeting. Yes, please.
We had a great meeting.
Yeah, must have been a really good meeting.
Kickbacks upon kickbacks.
So I just try to figure out. I've seen, of course, there's always the 5D chess or 4D or how many Ds it takes.
Trump is trying not to cause a panic.
Yeah.
By having people exit New York immediately.
Something like that. Or it's just good for America, that these two guys get along. And I agree with that. It is great that they get along. I would prefer, the big issue I'm having right now is like, where is the free market capitalist voice in the government, like in policymakers? Where is that voice right now? Because we got plenty of people.
Oh, we're trying to primary
talking about. We're trying to get rid of those specific people. Actually, isn't that weird? We've got plenty on the left talking about hating the billionaires and socialism and Medicare for all and all that. And I think it's great these guys get along. I would rather the world's best negotiator had brought Mom Donny over to the table and had Mom Donny saying like, oh, actually Trump's not that bad of a guy. And we actually got along a lot better than I did. And we discussed a plan for how I'm still going to be able to do these things. And after seeing this, I'm like, yeah, I think Trump's going to increase funding to New York. I think Mom Donny just convinced him that a healthy, vibrant, perfect, happy New York is going to make America happy or something, or make America great again or something. I don't know. Yeah, it starts in New York.
Well, he might have used his emotional ties to New York, It's like, Trump, you've got buildings there. This is the greatest city in America. He got swindled by the swindler. But also, again, their views aren't that far apart. I've said this since like 2015 that Trump is a liberal from New York.
Mm-hmm.
He's a liberal from New York. He's been friends and donated to the Democrats all his life. He has no problem spending money. I've said this from the beginning. It's the other thing he said there that I thought was interesting is that we're going to help him make sure he's successful.
Yeah, so the talk before this was that Trump was going to find ways to cut off federal funds for New York. I'm telling you right now, I think there's going to be extra federal funds for New York.
Well, because Trump has business friends that are going to benefit in New York.
My God.
Yeah. Who do you think is going to get the $700 million they need to make buses free? You think those people aren't friends with Trump?
Sorry, I just saw the post in the group, which I'm not going to respond or say out loud.
Gross.
Yeah. But don't worry, Charlie. We're getting things done because the House representatives, well, when we were gone, I believe they voted to condemn socialism, and so that's good news.
Just showing this.
It's an alert. It's a Fox News alert.
This is so ridiculous.
Hill right now. This is a measure to condemn socialism. The vote is still being tabulated, but of note, the 4 leading Democrats in the House voted with Republicans to condemn socialism.
Their next vote was how they're going to give stolen money away to people for all these programs afterwards, by the way.
It's all theater. It's all theater.
This,
My God. Did they condemn? Are they going to vote on violence, condemning violence? Make sure they all get on record.
Are
they going to condemn poverty after this?
No, but the point is, like, instead of stopping socialism, like, they could just stop doing socialist stuff, but instead of that, they're going to do the socialism stuff. They're going to call it something else. I don't know what they're going to call it. And then they're going to vote to condemn socialism on the side. My head's going to explode today. I don't have the capacity for this today. And no one listening should have the capacity for this. Don't let anyone get away with this. This is insane.
Sounds like what I'm dealing with next week in real life.
It is.
Yeah.
It's basically the same thing. What the heck are we doing right now? Is there a plan? Does anyone have a plan? I long for the days of the rich guys with cigars and brandy in the back room discussing their plan, because I think all those guys got fired because of DEI or something like that. I don't know what it was. They got let go because one of them said something bad about Israel, and so they were all guilty by association. Even those guys are gone.
I love when you
what is happening right now?
I love when you get all hopped up on prolinelife.com/GML.
Can someone tell me what the hell the plan of this administration is? Because they're also looking at extending the Obamacare tax credits that we just had a freaking 40-day government shutdown to not do.
Oh, but it's going to go to the people, Nate.
No, they're just going to extend the enhanced subsidies. No, not that plan. The plan is to...
This is news to me. When did this come out?
The plan is to keep doing the thing that they've been doing.
When did this come out? Because I thought Trump was going to give it to the people.
I hear... Well, you see, someone told him to listen to us talking about this last week, where they said, if you just, instead of giving it to them, you just give it to that person and then they give it to them, they're probably going to buy something at the gas station on the way there, and they'll have that much less money for their health insurance expenses. So it's actually just more efficient if we just give it straight to these people. I don't agree with that, but if you don't do things to legalize cheap insurance, and if you don't do anything to try and decrease the cost of health care itself, which is what insurance is paying for, we have all these conversations about health insurance and no conversations of what the insurance pays for. You guys say, well, what was the average? Let's see, my car, if I were to rebuy it today, would be like $32,000. Now, if all of a sudden, for some reason, my car, my Honda Accord, was $120,000, and my insurance went from like $100 a month to like $300-400 a month, would it be logical for me to just be like, we got to find a way to subsidize my car insurance? This is an outrage. Why is my car insurance so expensive? And the guys over here on the side who are like, your car it cost $30K last year, and now all of a sudden it's $120K or whatever I just said a second ago. And that's what the insurance is insuring. And it's super expensive, and it's growing astronomically. The insurance company, the biggest one, makes 3.4% net profit margin. We just talked about this. It's not the insurance. Sure, the entire insurance ecosphere and marketplace in industry is a problem because we shouldn't be using it for all these things, but no one's talking about what insurance pays for and why it's so expensive.
Yeah, no one's talking about why the cost of healthcare is so expensive. What are the factors that determine what this insurance is supposed to cover if something were to go wrong? And that's the other thing. We've turned health insurance into just a payment for healthcare.
Yeah, like you're somehow supposed to give them less money than what healthcare costs, and they're going to pay for healthcare for everyone. Everyone.
That was perfect.
I've never said it that way, but that's a good one. That's a good one right there.
And for some people, that does work.
It does for some.
Yeah.
Guys, for health insurance to keep going, they have to get paid more money than what it costs to do healthcare in America. That's a basic arithmetic.
But your
on
expectation
the
is to pay them less and them cover more. Yep.
Typically, like I started the show with, I try to give everyone like this positive, here's how to talk to your family about politics during Thanksgiving. And actually, here's how we get along about all these things.
Nope.
You know?
It's all going to burn.
And I come in here today and I'm like, I don't know which way is up. Yeah, they're still talking about, they're investigating these congressmen and women who made a video telling troops not to follow illegal orders. They didn't say this order is illegal, don't follow it. Actually, they didn't even say don't follow orders. They said, did you know that you can refuse illegal orders? They didn't even say don't do it.
They're wanting to bring the general, I can't think of his name at this time.
Are you talking about Mark
Kelly?
Kelly?
Yeah,
that guy?
They want to bring him out of retirement to court-martial him.
What are we doing right now?
And then the MAGA people are just all on this for this treason on Twitter. It's just post after post. Yeah, court-martial him. Fucking get him. Hang him by the nose.
Pete Hegseth is calling them the seditious six. They told people that they can refuse to follow unlawful orders, which is literally these people probably signed a good 100 things that said that already, like in their lives, you know, and that's it. They didn't even specifically say what it was about, and they're just going after this, you know. That's it. That's all they want to do, because it's a distraction, or they want to. You know, now the Comey and Letitia James thing is falling apart. They might still get Letitia James, but the Comey thing is going to be complicated because the statute of limitations was expiring like the day after they filed the charges. Like that was like their last day to file the charges. And now those charges are gone. They got to file new charges, but it's going to be past the statute of limitations now. So then they're going to do that, and then they're going to go, and a federal judge is going to say, oh, well, no, actually you can't do that. And then someone else is going to come in and say, oh, well, actually you can, because we paused time during this time. We found out how to do time and stop it. And so that was a big problem people are having, and we figured that out, you know. And so they're like, and I'm supposed to be upset that they're not getting Comey for what, like perjury or something? He tried to frame the president for treason. Treason.
By the way, the lawsuit was dismissed without prejudice, so they can bring it again.
They can, yeah.
They just need to find a prosecutor who can actually be a prosecutor.
And of course, everyone's saying like, oh, this is a Clinton-appointed judge, and this is a whatever it is they want to call it. No, there's a reason that you can't do multiple interim appointments like this, because we have people get confirmed by the Senate. All right. And that is important, especially was more important back when the states just used to pick who the senators were. Made a little bit more sense back then, but they got to get confirmed by the Senate. These people are representing people. Okay. And if you just decide that you can put an interim person in there and then fire them and then put a new one in there and then fire them, then you never have to do any actual appointments that get confirmed by the Senate. We'll just get rid of this whole confirmation thing. And while right now, if you're a Trump supporter, you might be like, that's what you got to do. These demon rats are just doing all this crazy stuff and all that. Okay, well, do you want Kamala Harris to never have to get her people to be confirmed by the Senate? Do you want Gavin Newsom to decide that none of his people need to be confirmed by the Senate? Just going to do an interim person and then fire him and then put a new one in there and then fire him, and that's it?
We'll worry about that later. Trump needs this power now, Nate.
Yeah.
How do you not understand this? You know, how do you not get this? What do you want these checks and balances for?
I'm
We've been run over as a society, and we need the president and his administration to have these powers to go after them traitors, man.
and if anything,
They've been screwing our country up for years now.
If
And if you don't give the president the power he needs, the power of the blood to clean them streets up, man, how do you even think about getting rid of the deep states?
I hadn't thought about it that way. You're right. Yeah. That's a good point. If any real point that we just made, like about talking to your family at Thanksgiving, let's say you got a super duper MAGA family member talking to you, and you're like, well, what would the boys from GML say in this? I guess that's how you talk right there. I'll say this one thing. This is what I would ask those people. Is Trump always going to be in office? Do you trust?
Hopefully not.
Do you trust the government? Are you okay with Gavin Newsom having the power to do these things? Like this principle, even with the interim attorneys, stuff like that. Are you okay with them never having to get confirmed by the Senate, and they can just put in whoever they want? And if they don't do whatever prosecution they want, they'll fire them and put a new person in. Is that how you hope America is governed in the future, when there is not a Republican in office?
And by the way, this has nothing to do with whether or not Comey's guilty. I mean,
no, I mean,
Comey, just like every other government official, is probably guilty of several crimes.
Yeah, I mean,
and probably deserves to spend the rest of his life in prison.
From what I know, I'm fine if he's in prison forever. But you got, if it's your first time listening, you haven't heard me say this before, I'm like, the problem that everyone had with some of these people, Comey or James, say political prosecutions or whatever, or trying to frame Trump for treason, spying on Trump and all that. If that was like treasonous behavior or things that you never want the government to ever do again, like that's what you should be worried about. It shouldn't be getting like retribution for Trump because people were mean to him and that was a headache having to deal with all that stuff. Okay, he won. He's the president again. Okay, they tried to do all this stuff to him, and he persevered.
It didn't work.
So we don't need to do this for retribution for Trump. The reason these things are important is because these are things that the government should not do. This is a evil, tyrannical, authoritarian government type stuff to do for each one of these political parties to do this to especially in some of these cases where they wanted to stop Trump from running for re-election again, which is why I think a lot of those cases were brought. I think they brought them so late because they didn't think Trump would ever try to run for re-election again after, Jan 6 and all that. They thought he was done. That's why all the cases took so long for them to bring. And then when they saw he was actually running, they were like, oh, okay, well, we better try and find a way to put this guy in prison. And that is not how we want America to run. But if the recourse for that is that someone gets in trouble for lying on their mortgage application, then you haven't stopped anyone from doing any of this stuff in the future, especially if it's someone who's filled out all of their mortgage applications properly. They could do anything in government they want to do. In fact, you always want to find people. In fact, they'll start teaching in college right now. If you want to become a tyrannical government official in the future, there's number one thing. We're going to take you through this class. Do not lie in your mortgage applications, and you're going to be fine. They'll never be able to get you on anything. Okay? And make sure you're coached up well when you're testifying in front of Congress. All right? Because if you say one word differently than the other, they're going to get you on perjury. You can do all the other stuff you want to do. It's fine.
Those are the
fine.
things.
Okay? As long as you don't lie in your mortgage application and you don't trip up and say one word in the wrong spot during testifying in front of Congress. Other than that, there's basically no rules for government officials. And that's why when it comes to these cases, I'm like, what are we changing here? You're literally just telling people that they have to become better liars or that they don't need to lie on the mortgage. I think that's the Letitia James things. I could be getting these things confused because I don't care. Nothing's changing. We're going to, if Trump's not careful, we're going to come out of this with Democrats in control of the House and the Senate, a government that's spending way more money than it's spending right now, no real solutions to any of the problems. We'll have less good people in government because he'll have run off MTG, who I was hard on earlier, but I get like she's coming around, and I think she is, as someone said in the group, she's an authentic, real person who does what she believes, and those people can't be tolerated in Washington. And then if Trump has his way, he'll be rid of Massey and Rand Paul. And finally, if he has his way, you'll have only Democrats who all want to take more money from you and spend more money and make the government more powerful, and then only Republicans who all want to spend more money and take less from you but borrow more from your kids, or run up your inflation by printing and borrowing it, but still want the government to do more things in your life. And he's not going to go down as the greatest president in the world. And I think that's what a lot of people care about, including Trump.
It's Trump's legacy.
And I'm telling you, his legacy is at risk. That's how we should have framed. Let's start from the top. We should have framed this whole thing differently.
Yeah, if all you MAGA people care about Trump, it's at risk right now. We're looking into the future here. All right, I'm going to finish this out by saying, I'm not saying Trump is Hitler. Okay, I'm not saying that. You could make the claim for anyone in government to be Hitler, and you could find correlations. What I am saying is the acts that have been committed for a while now are the acts of an authoritarian style government.
Always, like our entire lives.
What starts to happen is they don't pass a resolution like they do condemning socialism and condemn the Constitution and like throw it out. That's not how it happens. It's a little bit at a time. And you start to lose your right to privacy, and you start to lose your right to not being tortured and having your things searched and seized, being spied on. Pretty soon you're going to have to quarter soldiers.
We're getting close.
At the border.
Getting close.
You know, your rights be damned. All right. We got to stop them cartels from those narco terrorists from crossing the border. And your farm is where they're doing it, Johnny. You hear me, Johnny? So you better quarter them damn soldiers now.
I will not let them break the Third Amendment. I'm a Third Amendment absolutist.
What starts to happen is as these principles that the country was founded on become eroded because they're chasing things that don't really matter. And you have populists on both sides, whether it's MAGA or, you know, the AOC, Gavin Newsom folks, who, as Nate pointed out, become, you know, two sides of the same coin, where the ultimate goal is just the power that the government can have and put on your life. It all leads to the same place. I don't care if it's Hitler or Stalin or Pol Pot or whatever. You could choose any framework. The authoritarian style that is happening, that's getting worse, will have a major effect, if not on your life, your children's life, or your children's life. And it's wild to me that some folks can be so die hard a person, for in this instance, MAGA, which, by the way, I voted for Trump.
Same.
But they can't critically think past that, you know, because everything Trump says feels good. We're still on this like feels good campaign. Like, yeah, you know, punch him in the throat. And it does nothing to fix the actual problem.
What?
But I don't know what hope you can offer people, because I'm just as frustrated and gaslit and confused and mentally and emotionally exhausted as you are.
Yeah. The hope I can offer to everyone is that we're going to be fine. Everything's going to end up just fine, I bet. It's going to be great. You're fine. The number one thing over this holiday season, while it's Thanksgiving and Christmas, the best advice I could offer to you, try to think the least about politics that you possibly can, and try to spend as much time, quality time, with your family as you possibly can, not worrying about other stuff. Just try to be with them. You never know what the future is going to be. And it's a good time to just hang out with everyone and not think about these things. I'll think about them for you, and I'll tell you about them. Okay.
Yeah.
But
also, I mean, if you go outside, go on a walk, touch some grass, you'll be like, the world's not that bad.
yeah,
And I get that.
there's no
I really
soldier.
do.
There's no soldiers the quarter out there, Charlie.
I understand that. But I also think that if you're not talking about these things, I was having lunch with a friend today, and he was talking about recent job changes, and he started his career out in 2005, and he said this one place offered him I think it was like 60 grand this year, and he was like, what? Like, that's what I started out at in 2005. And I was like, shoot, take me back to 2005 prices. I can live off 60 grand. Here's the thing you don't realize. Through what government has done to you, and if you just go out and touch grass and go on a walk and you're like, things aren't that bad, this slow decay that we've had by them printing money, and let's just take that one aspect of financial stability. Everyone knows when they go to the grocery store today, or you're paying your electric bill, or
Groceries?
it's an old
I haven't
word.
heard that one in a while.
Yeah.
Mm.
Some would call it antebellum even. They were using it those times. Everyone knows life has gotten so much more expensive compared to just 20 years ago. I mean, you think about 2005, we definitely had the dollar menu at McDonald's. Back 20 years ago,
For sure.
it was, I used it all the time. You were able to navigate life much easier just 20 years ago. And that was when we started really adding to the debt. It just hadn't really come to fruition yet. But Bush was doing everything he could to spend as much money as possible. And now we spent as much money as Bush added to the debt in 1 year of COVID. Think about that.
It's pretty awesome.
Over half of all the money that's in circulation was printed during COVID.
Laying back, right?
And this has an effect on real life. I was talking to Brittany the other day, and she even asked me, and we were talking about culture and politics and economics, and she was just like, why do you think about this stuff? And I'm like, I wish I didn't. I wish I didn't.
Star-crossed the bear.
I said, but one day, what happens? I wish I could navigate life and just be ignorantly blissful, go on about my day like most Americans do. They don't really pay attention to the news. Their social media is filled with celebrities and pop culture and their favorite TikTok dancer, whoever that is. And, they're trying to figure out what they're getting their husband or wife for Christmas. And mine's full of politics and economics and whether or not the world's going to hell. And because what I said is that one day, when you can't afford to feed your family because the United States has turned into the Weimar Republic, and you don't understand why you need a wheelbarrow to go to the grocery store. It's an old term, but people in Germany used to take wheelbarrows full of cash to the grocery store to get.
That's from back when. That's one of the last times people used that word, actually.
Then you don't understand what could potentially happen to human. And this is, by the way, this has happened recently with Venezuela.
That's why we got Obama, man.
They had such high inflation and people weren't able to afford anything. And it's happening right now in present day Cuba. There are real consequences to this stuff. And you can tell I'm not feeling very hopeful today.
I'm hopeful because I have to be. And
but I can tell you what to do about the situation. Is to learn something valuable to where no matter what happens with the economy, you have enough for yourself and your family.
how to service Tesla's robots.
That's possible. Yeah. Could start learning.
Start
that.
learning on that right now.
Maybe learn how to farm.
Sure.
You might have to grow some food for your family. Field dress an animal. That's a valuable survival skill.
Yeah.
You know, AI is huge right now. You could learn. A lot of people, especially boomers, don't even understand AI, just like they don't understand Google.
AI prompting.
Yeah,
It's a thing
there's
to do.
lots of things you can do in that realm.
We gotta go. I gotta pee really bad.
I know,
by the
but
way.
blue collar
Yeah.
jobs. I'm trying to give some hope because
Yeah. It's-
blue collar jobs. You know what AI can't do right now, although robotics will probably take over in 10, 15 years. But at least for the next 15 to 20 years, you can learn how to build houses, do HVAC, plumbing, electrical, physical labor, type of jobs.
Now that we kicked out all them damn immigrants.
Those will be not taken over by AI initially. They will once, robotics and AI combined. But there are ways in which you can protect yourself and your family regardless of what the government does. And I think that is what you should focus on, always increasing. We used to listen to this guy named Jason Stapleton, who always talked about increasing your human capital.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Human capital. And that's what you can do. And so maybe talk to your family about that this Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Get a third job.
Hey, what's your human capital? Why is our turkey only 12 pounds instead of 15? Did you not increase your human capital, Mom? All right. Anyway, we got to go. If you guys enjoyed today's episode, that we had no idea what we were going to talk about.
Clearly.
Being an hour and a half, something like that. But if you
At
enjoyed
this
it, share
time,
it around.
we're filibustering, I think, is what's happening right now.
We're trying to stave off
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
If you don't end the show, then the next part of your life doesn't happen.
It doesn't count. Share it around. Leave us a rating review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Go to GodHatesFeds.com because he does. And pick up some merchandise. We see some of you guys in there. Did you give a promo code for Black Friday yet? Not yet. Nate's thinking about a promo code for Black Friday. Do some of your Christmas shopping there. GodHatesFeds.com. It's always great to get your family members, some merchandise that talks about your love for liberty, which you can find.
And your hatred for feds.
And your hatred for feds. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's the best
same
place.
thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. GodHatesFeds.com. Go to joingmail.com. Be part of the Fed Haters Club. If you do all of those things, then we'll be back just before Christmas sets in somewhere around mid-December. And until then, there's 1,692 episodes, something like that.
It's close.
So that amount of episodes to go listen to, especially if you're a new listener, you can kind of get a gauge. You know what? Just plug our episodes in the AI and have them give you a summary. What do Nate and Chuck think?
Yeah. Good plan. Don't even listen.
Yeah. So do all that or don't. I don't really care, but Nate does. If you do, we'll be back again in mid-December. Hope you have a good day, a good holiday, and a good morning, Liberty.